everybody, for having me here tonight. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be a Republican. And I'm honored to be in the town which is the birthplace of our state hero, Nathan Hale.
Hear, hear.
In those long hours that I spent with Tony and Michael and others up at the Connecticut General Assembly, I would often go to the east side of the Capitol building and stare and look at the statue of Nathan Hale. And I had a certain sense of feeling of pride in him, but also association with him. He was a school teacher. And I taught at UConn. My wife Heidi, who's here with me tonight, is also a public school teacher. He was a captain in the Revolutionary Army. I served as a captain in the U.S. Army. He volunteered for a difficult and dangerous mission as a spy to spy out British forces in New York. I spent 10 years as a spy working for the CIA, undercover, 5 of those years on difficult and dangerous missions overseas. I suppose the one area where you're not the same is he got caught. And I didn't. At least not yet. But the words that are attributed to him on that terrible morning when he was hung in New York City, in Manhattan, are words that haunt me. I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. And he lost his life. And when I think back on my life and my career, I say, I've only had one life to give to my country, to give as a soldier in Vietnam, 20 months, to give as a CIA officer, 2 years in Vietnam, 3 years in China, to give as a Senate staffer working for Barry Goldwater as his chief of staff. Some of you may remember Barry Goldwater. You probably read about him in school. To give in the Connecticut General Assembly. And yes, when I first went up there, I didn't know what the pay was. And in fact, in those days, there really wasn't much of anything at all.
There shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
That's right.
The pride to serve.
Right.
Is what it's all about. My recollection is of $14,000 or $15,000 a year, and they said because it's a part-time job. Well, it turned out to be a full-time job with part-time pay, but I was honored to serve. I was honored to serve. I was honored to serve the people of my district. And I loved the opportunity after 10 years of running against a guy called Sam Gageson. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you see, he couldn't be beat. He had name recognition. He had money. That election year, Joe Lieberman was vice presidential candidate. And everyone told us, you can't beat him. And he can't be beat. Well, guess what? The people own the seat. And the people pick the person who serves. And the people in the year 2000 said, bye-bye, Sam. Time for a change. And it was you in this room that participated in that. And I say thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve in our Congress for 6 wonderful years. We got problems. We got problems in the state of Connecticut. We've got problems in Washington, D.C. We've got spending and deficits. They're unlike anything that we have seen since World War II, and quite frankly, I wasn't around then. The engine of our economy is small business. 70% of all new jobs created in America today are created by small business, and 97% of all businesses in America today are 20 or less employees. In Connecticut, 73%, 9 or less employees. And I would ask, are there any small businessmen or women in the crowd here tonight? Please raise your hand. And I would ask the second question, Matt, how much did you get under the stimulus? Don't hit me, Matt. I didn't do it, Matt. But the answer is simple. Nothing. 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 They don't get it. They don't get it. Point two. These are difficult times. These are serious times. I spent a lot of my life in national security issues, intelligence and national security issues. And I understand that on Christmas Day, when a student from Nigeria got on a plane and flew through Holland to Detroit, determined to blow up the plane in his underpants all at the same time, I understand from the Secretary of Homeland Security that the system worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Anybody here think the system worked perfectly?
Nobody.
Nobody thinks the system worked perfectly. It's not working. And you see, when you go to the United States Senate, when you go to the U.S. Congress, it's not just one issue, it's multiple issues. One day by day by day, multiple issues. How about this one? How many people in the room feel that our tax dollars should provide a civilian trial for a mass murderer who killed 3,000 innocent civilians on 9/11? How many? Raise your hands. And I promise you this, not $1. Not $1 for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed for a civilian trial in New York or New Haven or anywhere in the continental United States. Not $1. Let me conclude with another thought, because I know it's getting late. In honor of Abraham Lincoln, one of our great presidents, a Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. Aren't we proud of our Republican president? At Gettysburg, he remarked on the new rebirth of freedom. The new rebirth of freedom. The government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Well, I would argue that in Connecticut today, and in America today, our freedom is at risk because our government is taking money out of our wallet. Tony, is that right? Our government is taking money out of our wallet, and when the money comes out of our wallet, our freedom to buy is diminished. That $1 prevents me from getting an ice cream at McDonald's. I no longer have the freedom to do that. If it's $5,000, I no longer have the freedom to start a small business or make a down payment on a car. But if it's $5 trillion, my family, my children, their children have lost their freedom to live a life of Americans that soldiers like me and so many others fought so hard to preserve. Give me the money. But a new wave is blowing in America, a new wind, a new rebirth of freedom, and there are people in this room here tonight from Woodbury and from around the state who have been involved with the Tax Enough movement. We call it the Dump Dodd movement. We call it No Bloomin' Way. This new rebirth of freedom should be an opportunity for all of us as citizens, to bring about important and constructive change in how we are represented. So that we are represented by people who understand the role of small business, understand the role of free enterprise, understand the role of freedom, and are willing to stand up and defend that freedom. This is a gift that we have received under our Constitution from our forefathers and our foremothers. It is a gift that has been defended by us as citizens over 200 years, and it is time for us to step up to the plate and join in those engaged in this new rebirth of freedom so that we can recapture our state and our country for the people and for our children.